everyone, it's Suzanne with iCrafter, and today we are going to make a fun, dimensional, interactive card. We are going to be creating with the Heart Hands Wiper insert. This die collection has 5 dies. It has a sentiment that says love, 2 hands, and a heart. Now, there is some fallout when you die cut this heart, and I'll show you how I used it today on my card, but I love die cutting it out of cardstock and then again out of pattern paper and filling in some of the gaps in this die. Now the main component is this die here. This is what's going to create that wiper motion in our card. So let's go ahead and get started. Here are the papers that we are going to be working with today. These 2 pattern papers were the inspiration for the color palette. We are going to be creating a fun, dimensional, interactive card that's going to be perfect for someone this Valentine's Day. Let me go ahead and share with you the card that we will be making. So here is the card that we are going to be making today. It is full of dimension, full of layers, but the star of the show is the inside. This is where we have that wiper insert action working here. So the hands here form a little heart at the very top. And here's that heart that I was describing, how you can fill in all the little bits and pieces with the pattern paper, as I did here. But really fun, lots of texture. I had a lot of fun creating this. I did bring in some other dies from other die collections to create this card. I added them to the outside of the card, these flowers here, as well as a sentiment from a coffee stamp set. And I'll let you know the names of those as we work on the card. So let's go ahead and start building our card. I am working with an A2 size card, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I just cut and scored from black cardstock. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the first layer, and I'm gonna add this towards the bottom of my card. Okay, next I'm gonna add this pattern paper, overlapping the bottom strip, just like that. Now this pattern paper measures 5 1/4 by 4 inches, and this is 1/2 inch by 5 1/4 as well for this bottom strip. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and die cut a heart from media paper. And this heart is from the Heart Maze collection, but I only want to work with this element here. So I'm going to go ahead and run this through my die cutting machine. Now I want to go ahead and do a really fun emboss technique on the front of this die cut heart. So I am working with some distress oxides. I am working with picked raspberry, fossilized amber, and spun sugar. For this, you are going to need a canvas. So I'm just using the front of a sandwich bag that I just cut around. And you're going to need a water mister. So let's go ahead and start applying our ink onto this sandwich bag. So I am going to put some in that corner there. Okay, so now I am just going to spray the water right on top. I'm gonna grab my heart and just turn it face down. And I'm just gonna flip this over so I can see the colors and just kind of push the colors around that entire heart. Paper towel. So now I'm just gonna kind of pick up some of that excess paint. Love how the colors blended together. I am now going to dry it with a heat embossing gun. Next technique, I am working with a clear embossing powder, also a piece of bubble wrap, and a Versamark ink pad. I'm gonna go ahead and just apply the Versamark. I'm then going to simply stamp or apply the bubble wrap right on top of the die cut. I'm going to lift off, and then I'm going to go ahead and apply the embossing powder right over the top. And this is what we have. Look at how beautiful that is already. I love this. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just emboss it with the embossing gun. I love how this turned out. I love this clear embossing powder and how it just gives a lot of dimension to a simple die cut. And what an easy technique. Okay, so now that we have that done, let's go ahead and continue building our card. Put some foam adhesive on the back of the heart. So I'm just gonna go ahead and adhere it to this side of the card. I still have some details to work on the front, but I wanna go ahead and show you how fun the Heart Hands wiper insert is and what it can do. So let's go ahead and let's start working in the inside of the card. I'm gonna go ahead and apply this pad of paper here towards the bottom of the card here, and this measures 3 1/4 by 5 1/2. So this is the main component of the Heart Hands wiper insert. This is what creates that wiper motion. So I'm gonna go ahead and die cut this out of a hot pink cardstock. So here's what it looks like here that creates that wiper motion. So the first thing I'm gonna do, there are some crease lines all along this die cut here. There's some that are diagonal, some that are horizontal. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold right along this one here, and I'm gonna push down on it and just go across it, just like that. These two tabs here get adhered to the crease line of your card base. So now let's go ahead and turn it around, and we're gonna work on this side here. Again, there are some crease lines here that are diagonal, horizontal, and I'm gonna go ahead and start on this angle here and fold along that crease line. There's another one right there. It's very faint, but you'll be able to see it once you die cut it. And I'm just gonna kind of push in that center there. We're creating our mountain folds here. So let's go ahead and fold along this edge. And on this angle here. And just kind of pushing it inward because there is a crease line that's horizontal. I'm gonna go ahead and fold along that one there. And this will help guide all the others into place. And I'm gonna work on this side and just go across the edges. Do the same thing to this side here. Just like that. Making sure I have those nice and straight there. So now we can go ahead and fold along this crease line and just fold back right along it, right along that edge, just like that. Something that helps me as I'm assembling this as to how to place it onto the card is that this middle part of the wiper insert resembles an arrow. So I know that I need to go this direction and adhere these tabs down with some adhesive, and then I can start building my wiper insert. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get adhesive on the bottom of these tabs. You will need a strong adhesive on the bottom of the tabs to ensure that it stays in place. So I'm just using some double-sided adhesive. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the top layer, and I'm gonna go ahead and adhere it to the center of the card. And you can place this anywhere along that crease line, but I'm gonna go ahead and try to center it as best I can. So now we can go ahead and unfold this, and right along this edge, we want to add some adhesive. So I'm gonna add double-sided tape to that. We'll need some strong adhesive. You can use liquid adhesive as well. Just give it a chance to set and dry. Okay, now I can go ahead and remove that. Okay, so now we can just adhere it down, just like that. And that is how we create that wiper motion, just like that. How fun is that? I love how interactive this is. Okay, so now let's go ahead and we are going to die cut our hand. So here are the hands, and I just die cut them out of craft cardstock, and we are going to place them right along this crease line here. That's the horizontal one that goes right across the top. And you kind of just want to play with it and just set it where you think it matches, because when they come up, it forms a heart. How cute is that? I love that. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and grab some more of that double-sided tape and adhere some along the bottom. I'm going to start with this one here, and I'm going to place it right there. And I'm going to fold it down just so that adhesive grabs just like that. All right, so let's grab our other hand and let's see. So see how it forms that heart? Okay, so I'm going to place it about there, and I'm going to go ahead and place it there, and let's see how we did there. Okay, that looks good. Just like that, it forms that heart. We can actually probably move this just a little bit, but let's see. I think I'm going to move this over just a little bit. And then let's go ahead and open it up. Oh, just like that. I like it much better. So you just have to play with it. And you know, whether you use liquid adhesive, I use double-sided adhesive for this, but as you saw, I still had time to remove it and just change my placement. Okay, that looks really good. Okay, so next I'm gonna go ahead and apply some adhesive here to the center of this arrow that I'm calling this arrow here of this insert, because we are going to want to adhere this flap upward so it adheres to the wiper insert. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and just kind of press on it so it grabs that adhesive. Okay, just like that. That looks really cute. Oh, I love that. Next, I'm going to go ahead and embellish the front of the wiper insert with using this die here from the set. Okay, for this, I'm gonna stick to the 2 pinks that I used earlier. And I am just going to use spun sugar and pickled raspberry. And again, you're just gonna grab your water mister and just place this where I would like on this background and just run it through the die cutting machine. Okay, so now we can remove the fallout, and look at how beautiful this looks. I love the watercolor effect that it gives this die cut. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and adhere it to the center with some liquid adhesive. Okay, I'm just gonna push down on that. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and die cut out of this text paper and fill in some of the pieces to the heart. Okay, I have my die cut here, and I'm just kind of being careful so I can make sure I have all the pieces that I want. And let's go ahead and start filling in some of the heart here. So I'm just going to apply some adhesive. Add that there. Grab this other portion. And more adhesive. And let's see, I'm gonna skip that. I need this piece, I believe. It's kind of like putting together a puzzle. Okay, so let's go ahead, add adhesive to this side here, or the inside of the heart. Okay, and one more right along this curve here. Okay, that looks good. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Okay, next I am going to grab some adhesive, apply some to the back of this teeny flower here, and I want to apply it on this side of the hands. So it looks like it's a ring almost, just like that. Now this die here is from the Floral Garden die set. There are a bunch of flowers. It's a beautiful die set. So I am going to add a few flowers to the front of the card as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish off this card by adding a few details to the front. I did die cut 3 flowers out of these papers here. Now these flowers, along with that smaller flower, is from this die set here called the Floral Garden. It has just an array of different flowers, some mushrooms, some leaves. You can make a really beautiful bouquet. Would definitely be beautiful on the front of a card. Before I add my flowers, I did die cut the word love. That's part of the Heart Hands wiper insert. I am going to go ahead and just add a little bit of white paint to the front of it. So I just have a container. Let me move this way, don't get any paint on my card. I just have a container with some water and some white paint that I just refill as I need it. And then I just splatter it across die cuts, across any mixed media. I pulled out my iPress burnisher tool and pad. Now this has 2 uses here. This here with the ball on the end is what I use to help give dimension to flowers and leaves. See how it's kind of curling up? Just to give it a little bit of texture and dimension. So I really love this tool. Now on this end, it's just gonna help you get some really nice creases in your paper crafts. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and just work around my flower there and right along these petals here. And as you can see, it just starts to curl up. And one more here. Let's get the center. Okay, that looks good. Let's grab our last one. All right, so now we can go ahead and add it to the front of our heart. Okay, but first I'm just gonna go ahead and just lift these petals upward. So let's bring our card in. So I think I'm gonna place it, let's see, place it here. We'll place one there. And this one off to the side. Okay, let me go ahead and grab some glue dots. And now let's bring in some enamel dots to embellish the centers, just like that. Okay, we are almost done with this card. I did cut a 1/2 inch by 5.5 piece of white cardstock. I used the Latte Coffee Sentiment stamp sets to stamp the sentiment here that says, "I'd like you a latte." So I am gonna go ahead and place it along the bottom here. Now, because this heart does have some dimension, I am going to use my hot glue gun just to apply some glue right along the edges of this strip. Okay, so I just applied it right along the bottom of the heart there. And now let's go ahead and add some ribbon. And I'm just gonna add this buffalo check here. And because we only added adhesive to the sides, we can slip this right through. Let's go ahead and tie it into a knot. Okay, and so the final thing that we have to do is just add our love sentiment right along there. So here is our card. I love all the dimension and texture on this card, but my favorite part has to be when the recipient opens up the card and sees that wiper insert motion. I love the hands, and it's such a fun, interactive card to give someone for any holiday, any special occasion. It's going to be a lot of fun to create different cards with this concept here. I hope that you've enjoyed creating this card with me. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a happy Valentine's Day.